Hey guys, Steve here with the strategy session for Tuesday, August 26, 2014. I hope you guys had a successful day. We were able to push up against those highs a little bit more. But to me, the market seems fairly tired. That's just my gut feeling, I guess you would call it. Look, right around that 2000 level, I think either we're seeing just a little bit of profit taking, but nobody seems to be wanting to buy either. In front of that, and who can blame them after the move we've had from 1880 to almost 2000. So I think going into the holiday weekend, action is going to be probably a little slow. Most likely some profit taking and just not really much movement. Is kind of the way I'm playing it. The way I think that's eventually it's going to play out. But look at last week's stock market outlook video, and I was completely wrong on that one. So again, that's just another prediction. But again, I just feel like the market's tired. Maybe between that, the move that we've had, and the holiday week, maybe that's the kind of feeling that it's giving off. But like I said, right now, the S&P was up again today. So was the Nasdaq, the Dow, and the Russell. So take that with a grain of salt. As far as our positions, we are actually fairly negative today. If you look here at our watch list, we only had 3 of our 13 stocks that were actually positive. And General Dynamics came off of this again. So actually, 3 out of 13. So we'll run through those real quick. Again, none of our stocks were down more than 1%. So again, I just look at it as just some minor profit taking, some little bit of a give back. Apple is really at those highs, that $100 level. We had a little selling yesterday, a little bit more today. So, stop still 94.29, and really not much to do there. ADM, continues to move sideways to down. I think it wants to either test that trend line or the top of that gap. And maybe at that point when it does test that gap, maybe the 50-day moving average will be there to provide some additional support, which would be ideal because then that would give us a nice reference for another trailing stop higher. For right now, 46.38 is the stop. AMT, really just moving sideways. We talked about this for the last week or so. I just think that between 96 and 100, I think that's a nice spot to consolidate, especially like I said, we're coming into the holiday weekend. Nobody's really looking to make any big moves at this point. We've had a nice move, and I think at this point with the end of the summer, there's not a lot of traders that are around. You've seen probably in the last few days that I've been very limited access to Twitter and StockTwits, so I haven't been able to provide the intraday commentary. But like I said yesterday, that's one of the great things about trend following is you don't necessarily have to be involved every day of every minute or every minute of every day. It is more of a closing, especially the system that I am promoting and trading is definitely more of a closing and type system where you can do most of the work and most of the analysis after the close and on your own free time. So that's why these daily strategy sessions are great because, it goes through our positions. It helps me go through my positions that I have on outside of the ones that we have in the model portfolio because I do have other positions. This is my personal account. So here are all the positions that I am trading. All right, so AA, CVS, H&R Block. So a lot of overlap, but also some other positions that I have in my longer term accounts. But as far as the system and where we're at in the market, I just think we just need some consolidation is really the takeaway from this. So AMT again consolidating. I would really love to move that stop up to this 94.25 level. Hopefully next week that we can do that. APD. Up a little bit today, really just moving sideways, allowing that 50-day moving average to catch up. I think if we can get a move higher, that 131 level is setting up to be a nice trailing stop level. As you can see, that would be the previous resistance, this support in here, and then if we can get that breakout, we would also be bringing in the 50-day moving average as well. So that's where I'm looking at trailing the stop to in APD, but we do have to see some continuation higher and, eventually a breakout from this 136. Disney, really the last 2 days has just been a little bit of selling, not much to take notice of. I still think this tests $100, but I wouldn't be surprised if it tested 88 before it, tested 100. I think that may be the next level. If you look at the progression, I guess you can call it. Well, here's a zig, a zag, a zig, sideways, and now we moved up, and now we're coming back in. So I think, to come back down into this 88 and then move higher, that makes sense to me. And if that's the case and we, bounce off this trend line, then obviously we'll be able to take our stop and move it up from 85 to that pullback. EQR, we are getting a nice 3% yield on this. I did check today, and the model portfolio, the paper money with Thinkorswim does not monitor the dividend payments, so unfortunately I won't be able to keep track of that. But it's good to know that we are in a high yielding dividend account, where every position is generating some passive income, not only in the so we're not only making money on the appreciation of the stock value, but also from the payment of those dividends. But for right now, EQR is really just, as far as I'm looking at it, it's just consolidating right above the resistance. I think, again, this one looks like maybe it wants to come down and test that 65, but it also looks like it may just want to move sideways in here between, say, 65 and 67. Either one would be beneficial to the long-term health, but a break below 64.08 would trigger an exit. Expedia, just really, some sloppy action, but overall, it's really moved off of this 82 level and it continues higher. Not too many down days. Looks like 3 since the beginning or the first week of August. So for right now, again, stop is still 79.32. Next stop level I see is this 82.50, but again, let's wait for that 50-day moving average to exceed that price. Fidelity, really just some sideways action. It broke out, hasn't really done much since. Our stop right now is set at 54.86, and these stop levels, in case this is the first time you guys are joining me, these stop levels are actually alerts. We don't exit at the actual stop level. We, if we close below that level, then we would take the exit the next morning. So, really not much in that one. GD, really just, as we talked about, we entered on this nice breakout, so we entered the next morning, which was the 21st. Since then, we've had a little bit of sideways movement, not much, some small candles, just digesting those gains, I think. I think eventually we may move sideways and then break out higher again. But if you look at the weekly chart, nice setup, came into the 50 or into the trend line, broke higher, came into the trend line, and I'm waiting for that break higher. So 115 remains the stop level in GD. H&R Block, we broke out. We took the trade. If you don't recall, we took the trade on the break of this small consolidation and downtrend line. So this was our entry signal. We were able to get in the trade here at 33.28, and we set our initial stop at 31.65. Since then, we've moved our stop up slightly to 31.97, and right now just consolidating. 50-day moving average is still moving higher. Trend line is supporting. I think the next stop level potentially could be this 32.92, 32.90. But I'd like to see a little bit more upside movement from that. But if you look at the weekly, we broke out of this nice base, came in, tested that base, kind of like a touch and go. So it came in, touched that resistance level right here at 32 and started moving higher. So I think right now where our stop is a good position. And let's see how this one plays out in the next few weeks. LUV, Southwest Air, one of the nice breakouts that we were able to get involved with. Our stop is still down here at 27.56. I think we can potentially, maybe over the weekend, we could potentially move to that 28 level. But right now we've just really taken off from that small consolidation, from the touch of that 50-day moving average. So another great entry. And at this point, like I said, it's really we've talked about it yesterday. It's really just a sit on hands type of market. We've done all the hard work. We've made sure we're in the strongest positions. And, now it's really a matter of time just to let those positions work and only really worry about them when they alert us that there's some issues. Right now, I don't see any issues in any of our stocks, to be honest with you. And, they're all just kind of churning higher and they're grinding higher. And that's kind of the way this trend following system works is, you get in and you just ride it until it wants to kick you off. Same thing with this, was RSG, I'm sorry. So again, nice breakout. We were able to get in at this breakout here, and we've been in it for, I guess, 2 weeks now, and so it is what it is. I mean, this is not a get rich quick system, but like I said, we are grinding out some higher prices. We had an initial stop here at 36.84. We were able to move it over the weekend to 37.50. So that now takes into account the 50-day and the trend line. So both of those would have to break, as well as this small little consolidation. And again, looking at the weekly chart, a nice breakout from a large base, about a year base. We moved out and we consolidated it again, and then we broke out again. So we were able to define this nice trend line through here. And if this is the first time you guys again are with me, I recommend you take a look at the trade school videos that I do every Tuesday morning, and it gives you a little bit of an idea of how we trade and different terminology that I use. So you could start with those, and then of course the strategy sessions are here to kind of give you an overall look at what we do every night to manage a portfolio. So you'll see, like I said, the yield, we are diversified. If you check out the model portfolio, you can see that diversification. So like I said, definitely start with those, follow along with the strategy sessions, follow along with all the educational videos, and, it'll definitely help you to understand the system that we're trading here. And the final one, Tesoro, really, again, just moving sideways. I think it's still contending with this 65.75 level. For right now, again, we had our initial stop 57.43. We were able to move it to 59, and eventually I think we can probably move it to 61.70, but we have to wait for that 50-day moving average to follow and catch up, and also some higher prices. Let's take a look at our watch list real quick. So the highest, this is sorted from biggest gain down, descending. So NVIDIA is close to a breakout. AIV, that's a nice looking setup. This is, like I talked about this over the weekend, but this is basically my bread and butter setup here. This nice tight consolidation along a trend line coming into that 50-day moving average. So over 34.27 would be a great entry. WMB, really same thing, sitting right there, right below resistance. Abbott, same thing, just right in the middle of the range. Kroger, again, another bread and butter setup, but right in the middle of the range. JWN triggered this morning, but it closed lower, so again, that's no trade. You could see how now it's almost putting in these three tops here. That's 70.50. HCP, nothing. Home Depot just really moving sideways for now. It's a nice breakout on the weekly. Hopefully we'll be able to enter a trade in that. That'd be a good trade, I think, to get into. And National Oilwell Varco, nice big topping tail right there. So price, take a look at that candlestick tutorial in the trade school. But essentially we opened here at 84.80. We moved all the way up to 85.97 and closed right back down at the bottom of the range. Called a gravestone doji. So that's usually a reversal signal. So this could potentially start moving back away from higher prices. So that's really it for tonight, guys. Again, not much to do. I think with the weekend coming up, we're really in a holding pattern until kids are getting back to school. I know my kids are getting ready. So for right now, it's really, you make a lot more money when you don't do nothing sometimes than trying to micromanage and overmanage your positions. So I suggest that's what we do. We kind of sit back, we let the positions work, and we'll revisit them every night, see if there's any changes. But for right now, I think it's just a sit on hands type of market. I think we're a little bit extended. I think we needed some time to work off those overbought conditions, and with the holiday weekend coming up, obviously that's not a big help at this point. So for right now, just enjoy the rest of the night. Nothing to do for tomorrow. And, follow me, StockTwits, Twitter, Google+, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and subscribe to the Nightly Recap. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.